Hey everyone, it's Michael GoosebumpsFan. I hope you're doing well today. Of course, it's at nighttime. It's about 4 o'clock in the morning. For whatever reason, I just kind of got up at like 3:30. I could not go back to sleep, so I decided to come downstairs and finish reading this book. I had like 15 pages of it left, or 20 or something like that. I decided to finish it and do a video now while I've got the time, because it's been busy here lately. I'm sorry it's been so while since my previous video. This is a review, as the title shows, for Goosebumps HorrorLand number 14, Little Shop of Hamsters. I'm getting so close to finishing the HorrorLand series. I have like 4 more books after this one. Really excited about it. Of course, I've read some of the other ones like Slappy New Year, and I've read like Weirdo Halloween, which is horrible. Anyway, so I have to tell you up front, I really enjoy Little Shop of Hamsters. For whatever reason, this was a fun, silly, goofy read. It had a lot of Monster Blood too in its veins. If you love Cuddles, the hamster, not Cuddles, but you can like that too. But if you like Cuddles the hamster, the old Goosebumps mascot hamster that went crazy and grew into a huge monster, you'll probably like this book too. It has a lot of cool stuff like that in it. Quite a bit is stolen from Monster Blood too, but overall I actually really enjoy the story because of a lot of the things that happen here. This is a great example of a Goosebumps book that I talk about having more comedy and kind of, I don't know, more of just a fun kid's adventure story in a small town setting, something like that. Anyway, basically the story's focused on a kid named Sam who recently goes to HorrorLand with his best friend Lexi. And while they're in a certain store with Jonathan Chiller, the very famous Goosebumps HorrorLand villain, that's one of the big villains from Goosebumps HorrorLand, they're in his store, Chiller House or whatever it's called, and they happen to be shopping around. They find a couple of things to get that are toy-ish type things. One of the things that Lexi picks up is a thing called an insta-grow pet, and Sam buys it for her. And what this is, if you were probably a kid and you went to the grocery stores in the 90s and early 2000s, you've probably seen this kind of thing before. You've probably seen it even if you were born after that, or raised after that. It's kind of like one of those like toys that are like little styrofoam dinosaurs and animals and stuff. You put them in water and they grow. I loved these kinds of things when I was a kid, and when I got into like my preteen era and stuff, I loved those kinds of things. For whatever reason, they were so cute and cool, and I enjoyed that. So that was a big throwback to me that I think kids around 2008 wouldn't relate to this as much as the 90s kids would, like myself. Anyway, this thing can grow and grow and grow, and of course it being a Goosebumps book and also being a HorrorLand book, this could easily get into a big mess, and it does, involving that insta-grow pet. But there's a worse situation going on, because the thing that Sam bought for himself was like a fake cell phone that has a candy dispenser inside of it and puts out these certain kind of candies. I think they're sour too, from what I remember. But for whatever reason, Sam, just wanted this. I don't know why, but he did. And he and Lexi go back to their old house and whatnot, or their house is their old town, after they leave Horrorland. And that's the prologue of the story. But the beginning of the actual book after the prologue is pretty much Sam wanting a pet. And he kind of wants a pet hamster specifically. And he starts working in a store for a guy named Fitz, and so does Lexi as well, to try to prove how responsible that Sam actually is so he can get a pet hamster, because his parents don't really trust him. And some wacky little things happen along the story's timeline. I had a really good time reading this. Just for whatever reason, it wasn't a sweet book, but it was like a cute book. It was funny. It had a nice little fun set of adventure going on for it. Again, very small setting, but still it was a really fun time. It's just one of those really solid, surprisingly enjoyable Goosebumps books I had no excitement looking forward to. I had no reason to be excited for this book. I'm more of the horror, scary Goosebumps fan, or the really straight up comedic Goosebumps fan, more so than just the... If I see a book that I'm not super excited about, I kind of just... I just kind of accept that I'm about to read it and go there. That's pretty much what I do every single time. I gotta tell you, I had a blast with this one. It was so much fun. It was silly. It was weird. It was funny. And it just has a lot of personality. That's the weirdest thing with this book. It has a lot of personality that really just, for me, it just worked. It clicked. There was something about this one compared to most HorrorLand books that I just really dug. Anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say about Little Shop of Hamsters. It was a cute book. It was a fun book. It was silly. And I just had a good time. This is what I needed this week. I had a very stressful week at work. It seems like next week's probably going to be pretty stressful too. And I got to tell you, this was so fitting for what I needed. it hit the spot, exactly what I wanted. It's like when you have that really good meal that you really wanted, like a nice juicy steak when you've been craving a steak. This is kind of what I've been craving and didn't know it for Goosebumps, and I finally got this book to read, and it was fun, and it was exactly what I wanted. Anyway, if you want kind of a book that you're not really expecting to be fun or really enjoyable, this is kind of surprising. I actually had a really good time. I think you might too. I was very surprised with how much I liked this one compared to most HorrorLand books. This would probably rank pretty solidly, decently higher on the list than most of the books, because the HorrorLand series for me a lot of the time fails, but this is really good. Really, really solid for what it is. It's not like an amazing book or anything. It was just fun, and I needed that. I needed that right now in my life just because of how stressful work has been. But anyway, when it comes to Little Shop of Hamsters, if I had to rate this book on a 5-star basis, I would easily give this like a 3 out of 5 stars. Really fun, really enjoyable. Highly recommend it for folks out there who haven't read it before. You don't need to read anything else. I know it's the HorrorLand series, and pretty much the first half of like the 20 some odd books, you had to read them in order pretty much. You don't have to do that with the later books from like book, I think it's like 13 onward. Something like that, 12 or 13 onward from that, you don't really have to. This is a great example of that. You don't have to read anything else before this HorrorLand book to read this one, so that's nice and enjoyable too. Anyway, what are your thoughts on Little Shop of Hamsters? Did you guys love this one? Did you hate it? Put your thoughts and comments down below. I would love to hear what you have to say about it. I was so, again, surprised by how much I enjoyed this book. I feel like I have dark circles under my eyes because of the lighting in this room. I don't know. I got to figure out some kind of light I can have behind the camera too to try to, I don't know, when I'm filming at nighttime or early in the day like this, to just have some kind of light source. Anyway, 3 out of 5 stars, excuse me. Thank you for watching, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section down below once again. And yeah, I'm planning on going to Heads You Lose next, the book that is following up on this in the HorrorLand series. I kind of want to go ahead and finish up the HorrorLand books and get them out of the way as fast as I can, which will probably take like a month. But we'll see. Anyway, thank you for watching again. God bless you again, and goodbye.